everybody, how's it going? This is Amisha.
And hi, this is Gayatri. Welcome to another episode of Here Goes Everything with Us.
In this episode, we are going to talk about anxiety, depression, and our own mental health struggles. So, if you are triggered by any of this, then please skip this episode.
I think when I was younger, I used to think that why do people seek therapy? Because my knowledge of mental health was not the best. And I couldn't understand. I used to think friends are there, friends, you can talk to your friends. They give you the best advice because they love you. But as you grow older, all of the friends that you're emotionally connected with, everybody has their own issues, and it's just not possible for even them to just have this bias, right? To listen to you and to talk to you in a way that could actually take you out of a very dark place. And sometimes you're not, even though you might love your friends and you would share everything with them, there would still be some things that are too dark for you to share, even with people that you love, especially with the people that you love.
Yeah, and there's another part to it that your friends might not be in the mental space to listen to you or to just be there for you, because we all are dealing with something or the other. We all have our own battles, and I think it's not very easy for us to be there for everybody or be there for our friends all the time. And that is why we all need professionals, we all need help. And I think many people still have this idea, even people who are my age, that therapy is just like talking to a friend. You just go to a therapist and you rant. That is all therapy is. But it is so much more than that. It is so complex. It is, even I don't understand it because I've never taken therapy for a really long duration. But I know that it's really complex, and it's not like talking to your friend. It's actually like going to it's like going to a doctor. It is actually that you're going to a
Basically.
doctor, yeah, for help.
So, definitely, I think, like I mentioned, I never felt like I would. None of us think that we could go into a really dark space, but na chahte we do, and there are times when you don't know how you can pick yourself from that, no matter the amount of self-care and the self-love that goes into it.
Yeah.
You still would need a professional to help you, and it's a very luxury thing to say ki seek therapy, because it's not accessible. It's not as
Yeah.
accessible as we would like to think it is.
Yeah.
Right? And that is something that I hope and really pray that it changes and it becomes more accessible.
I actually want to mention this thing, that talking about like accessibility. My parents, for those of you who don't know, my parents are deaf and mute. And everybody, as I mentioned, needs therapy. Everybody is going through something, and I know that my parents could do with some therapy, but we do not have therapists who know sign language, who are proficient in sign language. And I think this is one big thing where I think we could do better. This is something I would love to see, that more therapists, more mental health professionals who know Indian sign language, not American, Indian sign language, because I would love for them to get some therapy. And I'm saying this in a very, very good way, in a very healthy way, because we all need therapy.
Yeah. And I think it would never be the same with having a translator. It would just kill the whole heart-to-heart feeling. Yeah, it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most of the time when we're not taking care of ourselves, especially, I mean, it goes for me when I am not taking care of myself and when I am not doing things for me, just not taking our time to make myself feel better, then it does reflect on our mental health. It does go down. It makes us feel worthless, and it makes us feel like we're not in touch with ourselves, right? And sometimes when I'm trying to fix that, I think of myself as a baby that I'm responsible to take care of. And it's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
to take care of. It's a sacred responsibility, and just sometimes it can get difficult
Yeah.
to be there for your own self.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely get it. I think I am in a phase where I would love to do something for myself, as in I would love to take care of myself. I know that I should, but I am just unable to do that.
In what ways would you like to take care of yourself?
I don't know, just go out more often, just shower more often, just be able to work, be able to just take care of myself in every little way. But it's tough also because my sleep has been really weird. So when I'm awake, I am exhausted, and if I'm exhausted, I'm not able to do anything at all. You would not believe that I can actually go an entire day without getting off of my bed. And it's crazy. It is because this is not me. I know this is not me, but sometimes just you are in this situation jahan se you just don't feel like this ever coming back. And I think right now I am in this situation. I know thoda dark ho raha hai, but yeah, this is what it is. But I mean, it's not all bad days, honestly. For me, it is not all bad days. There are moments when I do feel energetic, when I do feel like doing something. So मैं थोड़ा सा जाती हूँ, चलती हूँ, and I do some things. I shower on those days. I do some self-care. I read a book. I listen to a podcast, maybe, or make some art. I think my mental health is also affecting my art, actually. You know, this is something that I'm really passionate about, but I'm not able to do it. Just Instagram, if you see that I've not been active on my art page since more than a month, I think, and it is purely because I've not been able to create art, and it is so exhausting to even post something on Instagram, to make the effort to write the caption, to think क्या post करना है, to think how to uh, get people to see my post, how to engage with the audience. All of that is so exhausting. And yeah, I don't know how to do that. But as an artist, of course, I want ki I'm selling my art because I want to create a profession out of it. So yeah, it's all linked.
It is. It definitely is. Like you see one thing falls and then another thing, and it starts with your mental health and somehow it ends with your mental health.
Yeah,
Right? It's
yeah.
like a dominoes.
Domino effect, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is definitely something that I'm sure that is a very tough thing to deal with, right?
Mm.
And I feel at this point, I can always be there for you when you want to talk. But the thing is, for you to come out of that,
Yeah,
it would take everything in you.
yeah,
Just everything in you.
yeah,
And in such situations where you see your friends going through something like that, all you can do is just be empathetic
yeah,
in such situations, because let's be honest, we can't really just sometimes. I think just being there for someone and just listen to them saves them in a way that you can't imagine.
yeah, absolutely.
You might just be thinking that मैं क्या करूँ? Like, how should I help them? When you're just sitting, but you don't know how your presence and you just showing up for them is saving them in even in little ways.
Yeah. Many of us think that if the other person is telling कुछ अपने life का, is sharing something, then हमारा instinct होता है to give advice. But I think the biggest thing is to just sit there and listen. I think for me, I prefer कि people just listen to me. And same, if somebody is telling अपना life का कुछ मेरे को, I would just sit there and listen, unless they are specifically saying they want advice or they want help.
I mean, gratefully, I have recently had the luxury to have like a therapy session,
Hmm.
right? And yeah, it's definitely a luxury.
It
Not gonna
is.
lie at all. And yeah, I just, even though it's not been long since I've been taking that, but even those few discussions that I've had
Hmm.
with the therapist who is a professional, it creates a difference in
Yeah.
your day to day. Just
Yeah.
you probably not feel anything, but you don't know even that compound effect is there. You might not see it right now, but you don't know how it's helping you in the long term to just be kinder to yourself and other people also.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can struggle with not being kind to other people because
Hmm.
of your mental health.
Yeah.
And I think I've felt that.
Same. Yeah, I think it has to do with awareness. I think therapy helps you to get to know yourself. It makes you more self-aware, and that helps you entirely, right? Like many people don't realize how mental health can affect every single part of your life. That how it affects your body, your relationships, your work, just everything, right? And with therapy, you start understanding that. You become more aware कि कहाँ कहाँ तुम्हारा depression or anxiety or whatever it is showing. Like for me, I very बहुत late जाके I realized that my anxiety shows up in my body in very weird ways. That sometimes, if I'm sitting, my legs will go numb, my feet will go numb. There are moments when my actually like my heart is hurting, literally my heart is hurting, and just different little ways. And earlier I did not really recognize that as a sign of anxiety, but with therapy I was able to recognize that. I was able to understand कि okay, this is anxiety that I'm experiencing, and if you once you recognize that, you will be able to navigate through that as well eventually. I mean, it's a process. It won't happen overnight, but I think awareness is the biggest thing. As a child, not as a child, actually, as a teenager, when I was probably 15 or
Mm.
something, I remember being in school and reading all these poems and just stories about depression, anxiety, and sadness, grief, and all that. And reading those things would make me think that it is so cool to be depressed. It is so cool to be sad because they would write in such beautiful ways. The poem or the stories were so beautiful. It would make me think that pain is actually beautiful. And so I would romanticize all these things as a teenager. And it was really bad actually. I'm actually just embarrassed to even admit it. But yeah, that was a phase, just a weird teen girl phase.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know how I got past my teenage,
I
honestly.
know, right? I know. It's just
Ah,
I don't even remember a lot about my teenage years because मैंने बहुत ही intentionally, consciously, I have suppressed those thoughts and memories because oh my God, who was I?
Yeah, I think it was just a lot to do with unawareness.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like it can be like any disease that you're not aware of.
yeah,
Anything that you don't know, you either think it's horrible, either think it's I might romanticize it.
yeah. So I want to ask you, Gayatri, when did you first become aware of mental health in general?
As I was growing up, I think. I think a lot of people think that, oh my god, growing up is so bad, you're getting old and everything. But when I think about such sensitive things, I'm really happy that I am maturing and I'm understanding these things.
Yeah.
Because when I was in school, I would not knowingly, unknowingly, I would harm other people's mental health and
Hmm.
would let other people harm mine,
Yeah.
not knowing that I am not knowing the damage that I was doing for
Yeah.
them and myself.
Yeah.
Right? I think my first would definitely be when I was in high school, and it was definitely in relationship with another person.
Hmm.
When I felt really, I just, there was this, the situation was such where the other person would make me feel really small,
Yeah.
would make me feel worthless, would make me really feel like the whole meaning of emotional abuse came into picture for me then.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in your most tender years, you interact with it. And in your most unaware years, you encounter it the first time.
Yeah. So, what is your mental state right now? How do you feel?
Hmm. I think, again, every day is different for
Yeah.
me. But even when I'm feeling sad, very sad, which sometimes you can't help, but you do, you don't understand why. I just let myself stay in bed and just watch something if I want to, because I don't normally do that. And when I am having these emotional letouts, I just do it. That doesn't really answer your question, but what I'm trying to say is that it's a mix of everything. I wouldn't say it's perfect. I am feeling bonanza, you know, it comes and goes. But when that dip does come, I let I let it flow. Like I feel it and I let it pass. And I don't try to not feel that anymore. Like sometimes, you're
Hmm.
sitting and you're feeling so sad and you can feel your heart sink in and you feel so lonely and
Yeah.
you feel like you'll always feel this way. So yeah, you can feel and you can just see yourself. And sometimes, when you're in your room and you are around your family and you think you cannot really cry in front of them
Hmm.
because you are obviously strong, I'm stronger, and you go inside the washroom and you can't help but look in the mirror
Oh
and you
God.
see how broken you feel. So I let all of that.
Yeah, that is so
And
important.
but to just live those little moments. Yeah. So I like to say those little moments are not really little.
Yeah, I read this quote somewhere that life is nothing without both happiness and sadness because both of them empower each other. Because
Hmm.
how would you feel truly happy if you do not know what sadness feels like, and
Hmm.
vice versa, of course. And yeah, I truly recognize this. I do not hate my life because of my mental health or because of the sadness that consumes me, because I know, I do recognize that it is necessary to truly feel happy when you do feel that.
Yeah. I think just indulging in the art form that you love is just such a boost for your mental health in general, when
Mm.
especially when you're in a good space to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're like so sad, and even like creating sad poems and writing sad stuff, I think it's kind of a let out, or just, yeah, just playing something really sad, it's a nice let out of emotions.
Yeah, I mean, whatever helps, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, like I remember once I was really sad. So I don't really write poems, okay? That's not my
Yeah.
thing. But I was so sad because of someone that I wrote a poem about the whole situation. And for days, I felt empowered. I felt like I took the poison out and created something out of it. And I felt really good for days until it hits you again. But at least you did something for yourself that
Yeah.
helped you, right?
Yeah.
And I heard that I read somewhere that, if it's not related, but what the context is that if he writes if he writes 100 poems for you,
Hmm.
right, he loves the poems. If he writes one poem for you,
Oh,
he loves you.
damn.
And that's what I felt, because I am not a writer. But
Oh my God. Okay. That's amazing.
uh, so that's what I felt that day. That I wrote that one thing that mattered to me so much, and I took it out and I put it out there.
Yeah.
So that helped.
But you write really well, by the way.
Yeah, thanks, girl. It means a lot coming especially from you.
Kya especially from you?
No, we need to change this narrative. If somebody says that, you say, "Oh, thank you. Acknowledge
Oh,
your
thanks,
strengths."
Gayatri.
Yes, good, good.
Oh, by the way, in the last episode, जब you said I love you and I said okay, इतने लोगों ने मुझे मैसेज किया है, like
That you're
not
rude.
इतने, I yeah, नहीं, not rude, but इतने like some people have messaged me saying you left
How could
Gayatri
you?
hanging. I feel so bad for her. उसको at least personally तो बोल दे that you love her. I'm like, she knows, okay, ठीक है, she knows.
हाँ, उसमें पहले कैसे? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, people actually said that. Ki you left her hanging. I feel bad for her. Poor girl. Poor Gayatri.
Look at all the sympathy I'm getting.
Yeah, good for you.
Fan favorite. It's interesting how these mental health struggles and everybody's bodily reaction to it is very different.
Yeah.
You know how it would look like for someone physically doesn't really, it might not go for you. So when we go online and we blindly start thinking, oh, I might need this pill, or I might should, like, maybe I should just do the same thing and it would make me feel better, it could actually do worse.
Yeah. People don't recognize that. People, especially, people from a parent's generation or our relatives, since their concept of mental health is non-existent or it's very vague, they do not really recognize your mental health, right? And yeah.
So yeah, I think, yeah, a lot of the adults think that this whole concept is non-existent. For them, it's like knee pain is real, right? Pet dard is real, but mental health is not real. It's out of body experience. Like, mind is not a part of your body only. वो कहीं बाहर का है. But I do feel that, I mean, definitely, I think there is a large number of such people, but would also would love to give shout out to the people and the adults, like हमसे ज़्यादा adults, right? जो हम भी adult है वो shit, but like हमसे ज़्यादा जो
Yeah.
older adults are taking this into account, and parents who actually listen to their children when they do talk about their mental health and try to take efforts to understand their mental health and their
Yeah.
children's. Because they do exist.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I know your parents actually. I know that they are one of those that they recognize your mental health and their mental health as well. And
Yeah.
that's really good. It's such a good environment to be in because it makes you as well more educated and aware of just mental health in general.
Yeah. And I think in light of all these things, I feel that a lot of. So I recently came across this term called medical gaslighting, where, for example, you tell somebody that you're dealing with things like, for your example, Amisha, you go to someone, a friend, thinking that he wants the best for me, and you share your journey and you share the struggles and the low times that you're feeling. So, for example, I was going through a very bad time in college, probably. And I told a friend that some days it's getting difficult to even get out of bed because I feel so low. And I feel like just waking up is hard, existing is hard. And their response was, maybe you are not pushing yourself, or maybe you just need to like put some music so you can feel like you can get up. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's not what I'm talking about, dear. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It is, yeah, these not getting out of bed wala was a very mental state for to be.
Yeah.
It was what I was trying to tell that person was that when I wake up, I think of every place that I have to go now and smile and act like everything is normal and just
Yeah.
do the normal existing things. And I know it's not normal, and that's why I wanted to talk to that person for that. And
Yeah.
this was their response. I don't blame them necessarily. Maybe they haven't felt that.
Yeah.
उनके लाइफ में God's grace ऐसा they didn't feel it, they didn't have to go through it. But such instances then made you
Yeah.
realize that not everybody can understand it. And it could be a form of medical gaslighting where you're told that what you are feeling, all of this is
Hmm.
just bullshit and it's just because you don't have a playlist
Yeah.
that you're not playing and not able to get out of bed.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. For people to just say that, oh, it's nothing, you just overthinking, or it's nothing, सबके साथ ऐसा होता है. You should just go out more often. Yeah, listen to some music, exercise, all these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
It's
it's more than that,
yeah.
because these are the things that obviously when you tell somebody to exercise or listen to music or go out, definitely you want their best interest.
Of
Okay,
course.
these are not bad advice, but these are the things that are so basic that any person would do for themselves. And when they're not able to do that bit also,
Yeah.
and then they're talking about it, then it's different.
Yeah. Every day is different, right? Today you might feel better with good food. Tomorrow it could be good music. And there are days when you just don't feel okay at all, no matter what you do. And also sometimes, like, we indulge in unhealthy practices, thinking that uh this might this might help us feel better in that moment. Like for me, I sometimes binge eat or don't eat at all, thinking that I'm taking care of myself by doing that. But I'm not really, right? Because I only feel more pathetic after doing that. And there are days when you cannot seem to help yourself, and it's like your brain is telling you that, listen, don't worry about it. You're probably never getting better. So, why are you even bothering to do anything about it? And on those days, I just sit still for hours, feeling both physically and emotionally numb. And it is tough. It is so freaking tough. So, it's not, it's just not easy when you just say that you should do something, that you should go out more often, read that book, etc., etc. All of this is easier said than done, because we know that we should be doing something, right? We all know this, and we can see our mental health going down the drain. So, yeah, it is not easy at all to get out of it. It takes a toll on your body, mind, uh, just everything. And I think that is why I also have a really bad relationship with my body, because I'm in a really bad mental state, right? So, yeah,
Yeah,
but
I think
hmm,
everybody's relationship with food is a very sensitive topic.
yeah, their
And
body, everything.
yeah, and that just requires some level of kindness because everybody has these invisible wounds, right?
Hmm.
Just because you cannot see a bandage on their arm and just a
Their forehead.
bandage their forehead, for example,
Yeah,
doesn't mean that some things is not hurting. And you should just try to be as sensitive in your conversations. And that is something that even you and I are working on with ourselves also, not just conversations with
yeah, yeah.
others, but ourselves also. So just being kind is so important.
Yeah, and again, circling back to our last episode's conversation, that it's very important to surround yourself with people who truly care and who mean well for you, because first of all, not everybody understands mental health, right? And not everybody has, or not everybody will be able to help you with this, or not everybody will be able to be as sensitive about your mental health. And I think that is why I do have a vetting process for all my friends. So if I meet somebody new, I test them essay by talking to them बहुत ही slyly, like I bring in mental health का topic in the conversation and I see their reaction, and if the reaction is adequate, if they do not flinch when I talk about mental health, or if they are like very open to the conversation, that is when I know कि हाँ they are the right people for me, and that I want to continue this conversation. Varna bye bye tata, see you never.
Hmm. Chalo, I'm glad that when we met, you didn't have any of these tests, friendship qualification tests.
No, I
I
did
would have
test you.
passed. I would have passed. I
You
did
did
pass,
pass. Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. No, I did test you and you did pass. So kudos. So kudos on that.
बधाई हो मुझे.
Very cool. And I think it is also important for us to find the right resources to educate ourselves about our mental health. Because just say I follow this Instagram page, okay, called The Holistic Psychologist. And I love this page because they talk about mental health बहुत ही deeply. They cover काफी aspects of mental health, why a person feels how they feel, and how childhood plays such a big part in your mental health and all these things. And it has helped me so much to truly understand my mental health. And it's amazing. I think everybody should follow them, the holistic psychologist, because they have some really good things to say. Even not just Instagram pages or not just people. I think you can even read books or watch movies or listen to podcasts that are solely for mental health, that solely talk about mental health, that empower, that will help you understand yourself better. So, do you have any movies, Gayatri, that
I have a book. Maybe you should talk to someone by Laurie Gottlieb. And even The Comfort Book by Matt Haig, both of which were gifted by my dear Amisha Khemka,
yeah,
which are definitely game changers for awareness and just feeling better about everything that you're feeling.
even like for movies, I think there's this movie, The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's a really nice movie. I mean, I can't really think of a movie right now that focuses a lot on mental health. But this Perks of Being a Wallflower, and then there's the Silver Linings Playbook. Have you seen that?
Hmm.
Silver
Yeah.
Linings Playbook, and then yeah, I think Little Miss Sunshine and all these movies, these feel good movies, or movies that talk about mental health or portray mental health. Yeah, you can watch them too. And we will share some other mental health resources on our Instagram account. You can find the link in the description. We hope that, those resources help you in whatever way that you need.
Right. And all of these things that we discussed are definitely something that we are learning ourselves, and
Yeah.
our opinions might change in future. They might not, but will definitely evolve in our mental health journey and how we perceive it and recognize it. And so something that we might have said would have felt like really absurd to you, or you would relate, great. Maybe you didn't, again another perspective. Maybe you never heard of such such feelings or such thoughts, probably.
Yeah.
But again, I think any information about, or anyone's listening to anyone's journey about mental health really does a lot for you in
Yeah.
general, and it kind of makes you feel empowered that if they can still go through their days, then I can too. And all the great people, everybody, uh, all of your favorite sports people or musicians, artists, they've all gone through some mental health, and I think
Yeah.
mental health issue. And I think sometimes, unfortunately, these are the things that actually shape us.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, and we probably will come up with another episode maybe months later because this is not enough. Mental health is such a broad topic and there's so much to talk about. So, yeah, till then, keep listening to other episodes. Let us know how you like this one. Yeah,
That's it from our vulnerable side. See you in the next one.
bye bye.